Hello and welcome to my 2020 F-150. So I did a video on this a few weeks ago when I first bought it. This is a 2020 Ford F-150 XL, as base model can get. I even have crank windows, which is exactly what I wanted, but because of that, I didn't have everything I wanted, because this is the steering wheel that was on my truck, and there is no cruise control, and that is something that with where I live and the kind of driving I do, would be very nice to have. I do a lot of longer distance driving, and so cruise control is a nice thing to have. So what I did is I went online and went on eBay and bought a used steering wheel. This came from supposedly a 2017 F-150, and as you can see right here, it has cruise control. And now you can't just plop this wheel on and have it work. You do have to use a program to program the computer to add this functionality to the truck, which is exactly what I did. We'll talk about that here in a second. Now, as far as the process of replacing the steering wheel, actually super easy. See these holes right here, one on either side. First you do one and then the other you push. I used an Allen wrench in there, a longer one, put it in there, and you feel a little spring. You loosen the airbag on one side, then you do the other side, it just pops off. It does take a little bit of force to get it off, but you don't want to pull too hard. I disconnected my ground and turned my key on so that way it would discharge the system, and that way I didn't have an airbag blow up in my face. And then it's a 15/16 bolt and then a couple plugs. It comes right off. You see a couple plugs. This is for your horn, this is for the steering wheel controls, and then there's two more wires that come out for the airbag itself. So pretty simple to get this off and put the new one on. The steering wheel cost me about $175 used, and it's not in perfect condition. Definitely has some wear, especially along the top. It feels way nicer than the plastic one. It is a leather wrapped wheel, but I'm actually going to be putting a cover on here, get one that fits on nice and tight, because I live in Arizona and the sun just beats on these steering wheels, and so the cover's a sacrificial layer for the sun. So the program that you use is called FORScan. You can get a 2-month free trial of the advanced settings, which, if you're doing something like this, definitely what you'll need to do this. And I'll go over the settings that you have to change here in a moment. Then I bought their recommended cable off of Amazon. It's a little bit more expensive than a normal OBD2 scanner. I did go with the USB style one, just because I felt like that'd be a more secure connection when connecting to the car's computer. I didn't want a hiccup in the wireless connection with like a Bluetooth or something. I know the chance of that is extremely minimal, but since I am screwing around with the ECU of the system, the control modules, I didn't want that. So I did get the USB version. I'll link to it in the video description. It's not very expensive, but it's a lot cheaper. It's more expensive than like a standard OBD2 scanner, USB one. But it's the one that works with their software. It's their recommended one. I figured it was cheaper than buying two of them, buying the wrong one and then buying this one. So anyways, there's a couple things you have to do to get this to work with their software. There are instructions for that on the website. I'm not going to, sorry, I just want to turn up my brightness, make sure it's up all the way. I'm not going to go over that because that is on their website. The settings you need to change, though, let me clear out of here. There's two. Let me change my camera. All right. So the first one is you need to go to the BDYCM, the body control module, or BCM. And then we go ahead and run that. There's a lot on here. And then you go down to cruise control. We hit edit selected. Now mine said without cruise control. I went ahead and just changed it to cruise control. And I'll go ahead and close that. None of these others apply to me, so just cruise control. And I did test it already, and it does work. And so we go ahead and close out of that one. We go back to configuration and programming. The other thing we need to go to is the SCCM, and there's one value in here we need to change. All right, so in here, if we go, I have the spreadsheet open. This is for the SCCM tab here. And there's the steering wheel switch left hand config and right hand config. So if you look at the steering wheel, this took me a minute to figure out, but the left hand config meant this side, right hand config meant this side. And so we actually are changing two values. The first one I did is for the left hand side. I changed it from 10 to 11. And you can see that here on 724-03-01. It was 1000, so just 1,000 was the value in there. I changed it to 11, drove around, tested the cruise control, and it worked, verified that. And then for the right hand side, so after I did that, the radio controls were not working. They didn't do anything for the radio. But I went through a bunch of these, and I tried 17 because I thought, Ford Base Cruise Audio. What that did is it would allow me to change the presets, but wouldn't do anything else, which gave me the same functionality with 18, 20, 21, and then I got to 22, and 22 was the ticket. So that's why it's 11:22, and now I have it on radio, so I'm not going to turn up the volume too high, but I now have volume control, and skipping through my presets, which is just awesome. That makes me so happy that both of these are working, and the code I used was 11:22. Now, will that work for you on yours? I don't know. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, but I was able to get to work, and I'm very happy about it. So if you have any questions, leave those down the bottom, and I'll put a link to my thread on the F-150 forum. I didn't get any help there, but if you have any questions, it might be a good place to start, and people can discuss it. Again, my truck is a 2020 XL with the only option package was the 100A option package, so very, very base model. So if you have different options, you may have to choose different things, but if you have a base model like mine, this hopefully will help you out. Thank you for watching. Have an amazing day.